Welcome back to the channel. In today's proceedings, I would like to take a look at new aircraft being delivered to a major airline, updates with WestJet, and some changes for SAS, who are switching alliances officially now. Let's begin with focus on SAS, who have formally announced their departure from Star Alliance, of which it was actually a founding member of. The departure will take place on August 31 as part of a significant shift in the business focus. A departure will see SAS join the likes of Air France and KLM, who will in the future play a significant role in the company's fortunes. As a founding member of Star Alliance, which dates back to 1997, SAS has been responsible for fostering key relationships with several high-profile airlines over the years, while boosting its position within the industry. However, SAS has been, as I'm sure you're aware, under a restructuring for a significant period that stemmed from filing for bankruptcy, and as it has struggled to navigate the more turbulent times of the industry, it needed to look elsewhere for support. That is where in steps Air France-KLM, among other consortiums, who were determined as the future. Changes, though, needed to be made to align with the major airline group's model. Air France-KLM announced they would take a 19.9% stake of SAS as part of that Chapter 11 restructuring that stemmed from the financial problems I speak about. While only a 19.9% stake at this stage, the Air France-KLM group has made its intentions clear that it would like to grow its stake in SAS moving forward to take further control. As part of the adjustments from the stake, it was announced last year that SAS would depart Star Alliance for SkyTeam, with Air France-KLM essentially taking the company under its wing and using the company's geographical positioning to access the northern part of Europe, an area it has targeted for some time but has not been able to truly successfully enter into. From September 1, SAS says that Euro bonus members will be able to enjoy the loyalty benefits they previously experienced with Star Alliance, but now with SkyTeam and their respective airlines. There will be extra baggage and priority check-in, among much more, that will be made possible with other companies as well. However, the specifics of which airlines will offer these considerable benefits to customers of SAS has yet to be revealed at this stage. These details will be shared closer to the official departure from Star Alliance. The alliance also responded to SAS formally announcing their departure, saying that since 1997, they've maintained a strong presence in the northern part of Europe, and they'd like to thank the airline and its employees for the trust and assistance throughout the decades. The priority, at least for Star Alliance now, is to ensure that the exit is as seamless as possible, with an emphasis on figuring out what's happening with those that have already booked flights. Looking ahead, while Star Alliance won't have SAS as part of their portfolio, 17 of their members will still offer direct connections to Scandinavia. Even if it loses the main carrier that calls this country home, it's still encouraged that it will have at the very least a presence there. You can let me know your thoughts. Do you believe this is the right or wrong decision for SAS, or do you believe the decision is ultimately influenced by Air France-KLM? Moving over to WestJet, who are propelling forward with their mission to significantly expand their own network, with new additions set to commence from Winnipeg. From June 2nd, 2024, the airline will commence new year-round daily services towards Montreal. There will also be increases in daily year-round flights towards the country's capital of Ottawa. Transborder connections are also set to benefit, with the airline announcing a seasonal service between Winnipeg and Nashville. This expected to commence on September 16th. However, interestingly, it will indeed conclude on November 15th. So really just a short 2-month operation, which is obviously in line with the seasonal nature of it. Winnipeg has long been considered a very important city for WestJet, and the latest route announcement further cements the airline's position in the market and the general vision that the company has for the future. Ottawa and Montreal are considered crucial to the Winnipeg business community, and these service announcements are expected to improve community connectivity and foster future economic growth. Winnipeg will benefit from the latest service announcements, as it will see substantial flights to markets domestically across the border, but also to the Latin Caribbean region. Notable inclusions do see the likes of 5 weekly flights to Atlanta, featuring. There's also a twice-weekly flight that is commencing on June 25th to Victoria. Halifax commences on May the 3rd, and there are several other seasonal winter routes to warm weather destinations, including the likes of those in Florida and down into the Caribbean. We also saw comments from the likes of the Winnipeg Airport Authority President and CEO, who strongly said that air connectivity unlocks a world of opportunities for all those that live and work in the region and allows them to go on journeys that they require but can also want to do. And they extended their appreciation to WestJet, who have enhanced the commitment to the community, and note that it has been unwavering. On to the final story of today, and ITA Airways is continuing to boost its fleet by adding the next generation of Airbus aircraft as part of a commitment to being greener, leaner, and younger. 4 aircraft in a week were delivered following its financial statements being unveiled for 2023. The latest additions mean the fleet now has obviously grown. ITA breaks down the additions as new-gen aircraft, which now make up 44 of the 87 total aircraft that it has at its disposal. The ambition is to continue increasing the number of new-gen aircraft in its fleet over time and thus reduce its reliance on older, less efficient jets. By the end of the 2023-2027 period, the airline hopes to have around about 90% of its fleet consisting of these new-gen aircraft, which should therefore consume 25% less fuel, emit fewer CO2 emissions, and generally help them be the most eco-friendly carrier in Europe. In that 1 week period, the airline acquired the A330-900, A321neo, A320neo, and working our way down to the A220. Interestingly though, the 3 single-aisle jets I mentioned were all acquired on a lease, which means the A330-900 was the only new addition that is owned by the Italian carrier. Since its inception, ITA has highlighted that investing in its fleet has been one of its biggest strategies and therefore focuses, with a growth of more than 60% in the next generation Airbus products at its disposal. We've seen also a considerable drop in the average age of aircraft that are operated by the airline. In just 2 years, there's been a decrease of 12.6 to 8.4 years. Looking ahead, there's a couple of busy months for ITA with new service launches as well as significant investments across the board, with a view of trying to make the company as efficient as possible and offering customers the best possible flying experience, but also not stopping there and making sure from the minute you arrive at the airport to the minute you leave it, it is a fantastic journey. That's going to conclude today's aviation news recap. If you have any thoughts, you're more than welcome to drop them down below in the comments. Thanks again. I'll see you same place, same time tomorrow for your latest industry news. And we'll fly.